Welcome to the end of the year. This is everything I painted in the year of our Lord, 2024. I got more stuff done than I was expecting to. Starting on the right side with some WizKid minis. First here is this Beholder. I hardly know her. That one I've had for a while. I think I got that in like 2021. Then right next to it is an Amble from 40k and some grub dudes that look like absolute garbage, but that's fine. The Amble looks pretty alright, I think. The Amble is one of my favorite creatures from 40k, so I just asked a friend of mine to fish one for me because I couldn't find one. And now, these two I painted up for campaigns that I ran this year. First one is this Mimic that I played in my Halloween campaign, and the next one here is this really nice WizKid dragon. I know WizKid minis kind of get a bad rap for being low quality, or sometimes the minis aren't rendered super well, but their bigger stuff, honestly, I would recommend to anyone. I think these look fantastic. This dragon I played in my summer campaign. And next up here, some Tyranids. Definitely the record lowest amount of Tyranids I painted in 1 year, but that's okay. I've already painted plenty. Here we got a squad of 10 Hormigons and 1 base of Rippers. And here is a Death Leaper, which is shockingly huge. And then a 3D printed not Norn Emissary, or the other one, the Norn Assimilator, is it? Either way, I was hoping it would be a much bigger. Little fun fact, this one I almost entirely dry brushed. Some detail work there is brushed on, of course, but this was largely dry brushed and it turned out pretty well, I'd say. Also, I realized with the Death Leaper that painting Necromunda bases is one of my favorite things to do, because with Necromunda bases, they're supposed to be really ugly and dirty, so you can pretty much throw on whatever you want there and call it weather. The next up here, of course, the Ultramarine. Yeah, the Ultramarine. My personal favorite chapter. I don't care if you think it's basic, kiss my ass. I have lots of other Ultramarines already, but these I based the same as my Tyranids because my headcanon is that they're fighting on the same planet. Hiding in the back here is Lieutenant Titus, or Lieutenant if you're British, I guess. And of course, behind them are some Knight Armigers. These I got a while ago from the Knights Christmas Battle Force that I think came out in 2022. Yeah. So I've been holding on to them for a while and only just now finished them. But, you know, such is the hobby way. These Space Marines, of course, are also from the Leviathan box. And yes, I didn't get them done until now. Right next to them here are some kit bashed. What are these? Reaver Marines, yes. Kit bash with some Halo helmets because I wanted to make a Dune Atreides chapter. I think I did pretty good. Got the army green right. Even got some custom decals made from an online store that specializes in that. I'm pretty happy with this conversion. I do think the bases could look better, but you know, can always try again. Next to him here is my original Inquisitor character. This was made with the pilot mini that comes in the Knights kits and some Imperial Guard bits that a friend of mine gave me. Really simple. I did this in a night, probably. My Inquisitor I made specifically for my Halloween campaign. Right in front of them, some Skinks. I love Skinks. I'm missing one. This box comes with 30, but there's 29. I have no idea where the 30th one went. I can't find it, so for now, it's just the 29. These boys I played in my summer campaign. Moving along here is the Ork Rocker. This was I know this was a special mini. Can't remember from exactly when, but had it for a while, and again, didn't get it done until now. This one is the first time I tried sticker bombing or decal bombing. It's namely all over his vest and his guitar. They even gave him some tattoos. For me, this is a centerpiece model, even though it's not a, you know, like a Gargant. Of course, right behind him are my 2 Gorkanauts. One is the actual Gorkanaut kit, and the other is a 3D printed kit. You're noticing a trend here. These had for a while. Now I got them done. And again, the decal work. Ugh. I love decals. It's such a great way to break up the color on a mini and tell more of a story. And right here is a Chaos Space Marine Terminator Lord, who I've decided to make a Night Lord. I really love this kit. It comes with so many extra bits. It feels like you can make a second Terminator out of it. I put a skull on top, so it looks even cooler, I think. And right in front of him are some Plague Bearers. 10 Plague Bearers, once again, made for my Halloween campaign. Beside them are some Night Haunts. Just some basic Scythe boys. I built and painted these guys up in like 2 hours. They were super simple. How'd I get away with that? Airbrushing. Since they're spectral, ghostly characters, That's the best way, I think, to get that smoky, wisty look. And then I'm just going to bring him over here for better visibility. And right behind them are my Chaos Lords. Starting with this one here, I got to come up with a better name, but I call it the Hollowed Knight, the final boss of my Halloween campaign, who I basically intended to be my Great Pumpkin model, just 1.5. I totally understand liking the Great Pumpkin more, though. This one's the ultimate big baddie because at the end of the campaign, all of the boss's souls combined into one being, and it's him. How does that work? I don't know. Warhammer logic. Now, the other bosses they fight, this one here is Sally. Not actually a demon, just a spectral, like, queen of the undead. At first, I was going to go with Sally's actual colors from The Nightmare Before Christmas, but I really was having trouble figuring out how to make those colors work. So instead, I just went with the Corpse Bride, and that was much easier. Following that up is the aspect of Tzeentch, big Tzeentch bird, who I call Fade, or Fadaka. This one was absolutely insane to finish. The wings are where most of my horsepower went. Something I forgot to mention, all of these Chaos Lords are 3D printed. None of them are actual GW plastic, which also means I saved a lot of money. But that said, these wings are solid resin. These are not hollow. So while I was painting, just holding it up constantly, kind of made my wrist sore. Painting him was still an absolute blast. I've never used so much purple ever. Following that up, aspect of Nurgle, Gaul. Pretty simple. It's just a great unclean one. Nothing much more to it there. I did have fun putting on a little Nurgling on the front, because why not? There's room for one. I did want to try making the mouth drool into the river down here, but it was too risky, and I was running out of time. I just had to get it done. I could still try it, of course, but I'm happy with this. A Chaos Undivided Lord, Asmodan, the Lord of Sin. Quite literally just Asmodan from Diablo 3. Yeah, this one I have had for a long time, which means the base I made a while ago also, and it's pretty boring. I'm still pretty happy with how he looks, and the fireballs in his hand. The next aspect of Slaanesh, Isha. I kind of wish I came up with a different name, because now I think of Isha from Arcane whenever I look at her. This one was a real pain in the ass, because she is almost entirely airbrushed, and then whenever I did go in for brushwork, really had to take my time, because fixing anything that's airbrushed is, well, next to impossible. Yeah, I wanted this one in particular because the Greater Demon of Slaanesh, I don't really like that model. I just don't understand why the motif for Slaanesh is crab claws and goat heads. I'm not sure what the correlation is between those concepts and Slaanesh being the goddess of excess. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I wanted to find a model that leaned into the erotic aspect of Slaanesh, and I found this, and she was perfect. And the last Chaos Lord, Aatrox, aspect of Khorne. Pretty simple. He was just one big bloodletter. This one and Asmodan I got around the same time, so finally, this one's done now also. Despite being so simple, I love it. And finally, last but not least, my very own alternative Sisters of Battle. I'll have a whole video on them coming up soon, but these sisters I absolutely love. There's a whole story with these. Kit bashed using the Sisters of Battle and House Escher Necromunda models. I had 60 of them. There's only 18 now. I've held on to them for a while, but finally they're done. And in the video I have made for them, you'll learn all about them. But that's everything I painted this year. I'm really satisfied with how much I got done. Now, literally, my backlog is next to zero. Well, not quite. Let me show you. At the time of this recording, these are all of my unpainted minis. And to think at the start of this year, it included most of what you saw on the finish table. Much of what you saw are also models I bought and painted this year. My motivation for finishing much of these minis here were for my summer and Halloween campaigns that I keep mentioning. And while that is great, motivation is motivation, to me that means if it weren't for those, these would likely still be bare plastic. which is kind of scary to think about. Regardless of the source of motivation, I feel really proud of myself for getting all this done at all. Now, while you take a gander at all of the sweet B-roll that I shot of these minis, here are some of my plans for 2025. I want to keep up weekly uploads. I think the weekly videos where I just sit down and talk about what I'm working on, or if it's just a show and tell, I think those are a great way to pad the time in between the bigger project hobby videos, those of which I definitely have a few planned. And by the end of 2025, I'm hoping I can at the very least, get this channel monetized. I also want to expand into other hobby avenues. I posted my first full-length LEGO video, and that's doing really well. So stuff like that. I want to talk more about LEGO, even Gundam at some point, maybe even comic books. This channel, I just want to be my primetime nerd hour. Now, I do have another channel where I post mostly edits and work related to my filmography, so there could be situations where the schedules for both channels intersect and I'll have to pick one or the other. That could mean making a lesser quality video for my hobby channel, this one, or favoring one video entirely and saving the other for the following week. I also work full-time as a video editor, so this is just something I do for fun. Is my ultimate goal to make content creation my full-time? Maybe, but obviously not in the near future. For now, I'm doing this for fun, and I hope all of you stick with me, even if you're just perusing through the wide internet ether, in which case I'm wondering why you watched this far, but if you did, thanks so much. Happy holidays, Happy New Year, and I'll see y'all next time. Thanks for watching.